Morning glory, America. Bonjour, hi, Canada. Hugh Hewitt. Inside the Beltway, but not of it. In the Beltway, not of it. I have many friends at C-SPAN. Brian Lamb is the guy I admire the most as the fellow who ran the race, never had a blemish on his record, finished the race, did absolutely everything right in broadcast. And he built a juggernaut at C-SPAN. And he listened to this show, so maybe you'll hear this. He's the tops. He's the best. You never knew who he was. He could have moderated every presidential debate. And over at C-SPAN, I got a lot of buddies, a lot of friends. Howard, well, I'm not even going to run through them all. I will say I've got so much C-SPAN tape in the C-SPAN library. They got an edition for me. And I had brown hair when I started. Back in, I think, 1986, when I had to appear before Congress as General Counsel of the United States Office of Personnel Management to be abused by some Democratic know-nothing congressman by the name of Jerry Sikorsky on behalf of PATCO, the Air Traffic Controllers Union that was responsible for Ronald Reagan firing all the air traffic controllers in 81. I wasn't there in 81. I showed up in 83, but right after law school. But in 86, I was the general counsel of this agency that I went on to become the deputy director and director of. And somebody had to go up and be the sacrificial lamb. So I went up there. So the first time I was on C-SPAN, my mom, who was alive then, God rest her soul, called me up immediately and said, "Don't put a pencil in your ear." Because, I was just fiddling around. If you're watching on YouTube, sometimes you just got a pencil, you play with a pencil and you put it in your ear and you just kind of that's what I was doing on national television. And Mom was the one that, of course, they had no cell phones. I got home that night to the fetching Mrs. Hewitt, and the phone rings, and it's a Warren calling, the boss, the first boss. The second boss hadn't been watching C-SPAN. She didn't listen to the radio either. First boss said, "Never put a pencil in your ear on television." I didn't even know I was on television. It was at doggone C-SPAN. My grandpa had seen it. He was a C-SPAN addict. Before there was cable, old people everywhere lived on C-SPAN. They were the best informed elderly electorate in the world. Walk into my gramps' house in Ashtabula, and C-SPAN would on. The volume would be, you could hear it down the street at the corner store in Ashtabula, but nevertheless, that's what old people did. They didn't watch game shows. They watched C-SPAN. And they got mad. They'd shake their fist at the thing. So I loved C-SPAN. And I've been on Morning Washington Journal, I don't know, 20 times over the years, where they got the Republican, Democrat, Independent line, and the crazy people come through, and it's unfiltered. It's a hilarious show. And I thought Steve Scully was an inspired choice. I really did. And I was leery of Chris Wallace because I believed him to be a never-Trumper, and I was proven right. I know Kristen Welker, and I think she'll do a fine job. She's going to be overwhelmed now. I don't know that there's going to be a third debate. But if you didn't notice during the night, Steve Scully, who I don't know personally, I've just been in the studio with him, and I know him to be a nice guy, a wonderful guy. But he did that thing that most people who aren't looking will do. He made a direct message public on Twitter. And if you're DMing someone, if I was going to send Radio Blogger a direct message, I would go to Hugh Hewitt and hit the direct message button and send Radio Blogger a note. "Please come to work today. I might need you." And he would send me back a note. "I am never going to work for your sorry radio blank, blank, blank again, you tyrant." All right. But that would only be seen by me and Radio Blogger, Dwayne. Unless Dwayne hit reply instead of DM. In which case, how many followers do you have? Are you here today? Is right?
130,000 people.
In which case, 830,000 people would say, "I'm never going to work for your sorry, what, blank, 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 you tyrant," would be out there for 836,000 people to see, and they would retweet it. Well, last night, Steve Scully, who's the political editor of C-SPAN, the senior executive producer and host of Washington Journal and many other C-SPAN programs, and his Twitter bio says he loves politics, as I do, the Washington Nationals, boo, boo, hiss, and being a dad, which I love too, and is a nice guy, hit the reply button instead of the direct message button. And his tweet is, Scaramucci, should I respond to Trump? All right, so he's getting his media advice from the mooch. And yeah, Never Trumper Mooch is getting a question about what to say about Trump from the host of the next debate. But there isn't going to be a next debate because the debate commission screwed up yesterday. Now, I have a Washington Post column. I don't know if it's on the landing page yet. Let me go and check. The Washington Post lets me opine, provided it's factual, not yet up on the landing page, that flays the debate commission. It reads, plans for President Trump and Biden to meet for 2 more debates this month were in question after the presidential debate. That's the Wall Street Journal. Here's my column. Headline, the debate commission grabbed for too much power. Its time is up. And I go through in this column the history of the debate commission. It began in 1987 as the head of the Republican National Committee and the head of the Democratic National Committee. Paul Kirk ran the Democrats, and a guy named Frank Fahrenkopf ran the Republicans, had enough with the League of Women Voters and said, no mas, we are the great parties. We nominate the candidates. We will decide the debate schedule. And so they named a bunch of negotiators. And then those negotiators got together. Then the party said, you know what, let's just institutionalize this. But you know what they forgot to do? They forgot to keep it under their control. The party should have had, like, up at, what's the border place in North Korea? Pyongyang, where they got the one house where you meet. They should have had one house designated in D.C., where every 4 years, the DNC and the RNC would meet and hammer out debate moderators and sites and places. Instead, they let a commission form. Now it's got a website, debates.org, the Commission on Presidential Debate. And now it's got a history and news about it and debate watch and voter education and international things and media. And it's got a board of directors. Let me read it to you. Frank Fahrenkopf. Yes, he's still there. He started this in 1987 when he ran the Republican National Committee. 87 to 97 to 07 to 17. 33 years later, he's still there. Nice guy, I'm told. Don't know Frank. Dorothy Ridings, Kenneth Wolak are the co-chairs. John Danforth, Charles Gibson, these are both retired. John Griffin, no idea. Yvonne Heo, Jane Harmon, I know Jane, love Jane. She's been out of Congress for about 40 years. She is in the president of the Wilson Center. I've done programs with her. Love Jane. Just older than I am by 15 years. Antonio Hernandez, don't know Antonio. Reverend John Jenkins, don't know Reverend John Jenkins. Newton Minow, don't know him. Richard Parsons, AOL, on every board in America, I don't know how old. Olympia Snow, I don't know how old. They are now the debate commission. And unilaterally yesterday, without calling either of the candidates or the heads of either of the parties that gave birth to the commission, there was supposed to be a Republican National Committee and Democratic National Committee agreement to negotiate debate details, pulled another fast one for Joe Biden. They named Chris Wallace, who was never Trumper, and the mask came off. And then yesterday they said the Steve Scully debate, who's revealed himself to be against Trump, you're right into the mooch, direct messages, should I respond to Trump? You got to recuse yourself. You're out. If you're the judge that does that, you're like Emmett Sullivan of judges. The guy who's overseeing the Michael Flynn distortion of justice. Steve's got to withdraw. That's what I would do. Unless he wants to come out and say, look, I'm a Joe Biden guy, and they knew it. I told the commission I'm a Joe Biden guy, and they said, fine. And I honestly, does anyone not get it? The Beltway hates Donald Trump. This is a countryside versus the Capitol election. And the Beltway's debate commission is against you, the voter of America. And the president of the United States is going on El Rushbo today, Rush Limbaugh, because he's going to go around the media and say, please reelect me because this swamp ain't drained. Stay tuned.